Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Knowing is Knowing. I'm your host, Rashad Young, and I
No, don't like that.
thank you for tuning in to an episode of Knowing is Knowing. I'm your host, Rashad Young, and as always, I appreciate you all tuning in to another episode. Season 3, Episode 1. What has been going on? I hope all is well. I appreciate all the support, all the love, all the questions who have reached out, asking, like, what's going on with the pod? And just kind of stopped abruptly. I find myself always in this vicious cycle. Here we go again, right? Life is very complex, and I think I run into the same cycle over and over where I feel inspired for a period of time, and then I just want to just hide and avoid everything. And I want to really break that cycle, not necessarily break the cycle for the pod. I think just break the cycle for myself. I think what is really important is that everything in life has a purpose. I don't think that we have to work 100 miles per hour to achieve a goal, because in life there are going to be things that just throw us off our course. We're going to experience hardships, we're going to experience up and downs, we're going to experience a lot of things that put us in different places and spaces. That's a fact. I think on the other end too, it is recognizing when those places and spaces are also being used as a tool to make an excuse. And I often find myself in that space of recognizing that I have very much a privilege that other people may not have. Just having a roof over the head, a stable job, all the beautiful things that I think some people would love to have, some people may complain about. But either way, I think the biggest thing is that I know that there is a large amount of time that I have in these spaces, no matter how busy I am. I have a little bit of freedom that other people may not have. I don't have kids, right? I don't have an additional responsibility. I don't have dogs to care for, things of that nature. And so, I've learned that using the term "I'm busy" is using the term "I'm busy" isn't always the truth, right? I think we prioritize what is important to us when it is important to us. If we don't have a clear objective and goal, that is when the term "I'm busy" is used as a reason for excuse. Now, again, I'm a realist. Hardship happen, things happen, life happens that puts you in those spaces. But for those who are waking up every single day, going through a cycle of repetitiveness and knowing that your life is not in a state of chaos or shock or despair, the same 24 hours that you have today, you most likely will have tomorrow. And there's something that you have to find deep within yourself if you want to make that change, if you want to do anything that's good for yourself or that you've been craving and desiring, that you have to make that step. And that is including myself. I think what I've known about me is that I haven't really always had a clear plan when making content. I've honestly have made content on a whim of how I feel. And that is honestly a terrible thing to do, because two things I know is true: motivation is not real, and our feelings should not determine our actions. Those are two pieces that will put us in a weird space, and it can also make some very impulsive decisions, and we don't need to do that. In the space of my own life and what I've been having going on, I've just been trying to get closer with God, really in a very interesting space with that. In the process of when this episode will come out, I will be baptized. I'll be baptized for the first time in my life, and really just trying to take that step closer with God and that journey with God, and really just trying to really just allow Him to take control of my life. I think the biggest thing that I have found myself struggling with is trying to be the chief command officer, the executioner, and all the things that control people's lives into my own. And I'm learning that that is also creating this sense of frustration, also a slight sense of entitlement to feel that I have to get to these places that I have a desire for. And maybe my desires aren't necessarily in a line at this time with what God has purpose for me. That's a very harsh thing to admit. That's a very harsh thing to come about. But I do think that we have these different seasons in our life where we often are placed in different seasons for God to test us and to see how we're going to go through those things. If I give you this small thing, what would you do with it? How would you take advantage of it before you get this big thing? I think a lot of our goals that we have, a lot of goals that I have, are big and aspirational. And I have also learned that maybe I am not able to handle those big things because of how I'm dealing with the small things, right? And so it is really important that no matter where you are, that you have this self reflection within yourself to just recognize what is it that you actually want, what is it that you truly desire, and how much of it is driven in self and honestly in a form of idolatry. And this isn't to go into a religious or historical doctrine of that, but I think where my struggle is as somebody who has made content for a couple of years, that started over, made new pages, is that I, even much as I don't want to admit it, I find myself in the space of I am trying to live in a realm that maybe isn't necessarily meant for me outside of just being my authentic self. I think with content, everything is, driven off in trends and what's important and what's hot, what's popping, what's viral. And what I may want to talk about just may not necessarily be in that space at that moment in time. But the point of the matter is, that should not be my driving force for making content. I should not be trying to make content or to make podcasts to have a viral moments or to feel like people should idolize the life that I desire or idolize to be like me. Because at the end of the day, each of us all have individual great gifts that are meant to serve people and are meant to be explored and will kind of show itself in its own time. So I want to really stay true to myself moving forward and what I want to talk about and just also hopefully add some value into your life. So if it's one person, 10, 500, 10 million, 100 million, I think the importance is that I am staying true to myself more than anything else. And hopefully that you do as well. Remember that everybody's timing is different. Do not chase your chapter 18 to somebody's chapter 1 or the other way around. Do not chase somebody's chapter 18 if you're at chapter 1. Your chapter 1 is your chapter. I know this is the time of year everybody talks about their winter arc. This is the winter arc, so everybody goes crazy and do all these things to prepare themselves for the next year. But I would challenge you to make not your winter. Don't make this just your winter arc. Make this the beginning of the arc of the life that you want for yourself, and also more importantly, to serve it to the highest. So it is that you believe in that is important to you, because that is important to live to your highest self, to live to the highest vibration, to give a vibration that's so high to people in the world that people can see you shining. But more importantly, it gives you the opportunity to let your life shine, let your gift shine. So that is what's important to me. We have time, but cherish it, prioritize it, and more importantly, don't make excuses for the time that you have, because somebody else would love to have the amount of time that you have to accomplish the things they want to accomplish. So that is your warning. That is your time. That is your priority. I appreciate you all as always. Season's coming. We're gonna just stay authentic. We're gonna stay authentic and positive as possible. I do have some interviews coming soon. I will not even give you a false promise and say I don't know when, just because again I know life happens and I just want to stay important to my journey, but also just make sure that I'm staying close to God and what is important for me. So I appreciate y'all as always. Until next time, peace and God bless. Bang. Let's see.